I'm just a woman doing all the things today. Hi everyone, it's Tasha. Welcome to another recipe video. And today we are going to be making a flourless white chocolate matcha cake. And if you can hear the washing machine, that's because I'm running the washing machine. I have limited hours to do stuff today, so I'm running that while I'm recording this recipe video and making this cake. And although this cake is really quick and easy to whip up, it does take quite a long while to bake. So whilst that bakes, I'll probably mop the floor as well. It's a housework day. Don't be put off by the long cooking time of this cake. It's 50 minutes, and the reason why it's such a long time is because we're baking it at a lower temperature. This particular cake relies on whipped up eggs to make it rise. And when I say rise, I mean rise and then fall. This is a sinking cake. So we're going to separate a whole bunch of eggs, we're going to meringuify the egg whites, so whip them up until they're light and foamy. And then we're going to use the egg yolks to enrich our matcha white chocolate batter, and then fold the two together so we have a nice light and airy batter. We're going to bake it and it's going to inflate, and we're going to take it out of the oven and it's going to fall. But don't worry, that is part of the ground plan. You don't need very many ingredients for this cake. You need a whole lot of eggs. You need 8 eggs, which we're going to separate, bunch of white chocolate, matcha obviously, little bit of sugar because the white chocolate alone isn't enough to sweeten the whole cake, but it is nearly, so just a little bit extra sugar. That's mostly to stabilise the egg whites. Butter, because we all like a bit of fat in our cake and it just enriches it even more, gives a bit of body as well. Basically 5 ingredients and then a little pinch of salt just to bring out the sweetness and it's not too sweet, to balance out the sweetness rather. And that's it, 5 ingredients, 6 if you count that pinch of salt. The cake batter itself takes maybe 10 minutes to whip up. Baking is 15 minutes, but it's literally shoving it in the oven and then forgetting about it for 15 minutes, so that part's easy. And then you just need to cool it down and then eat it. So with all that said, let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. First things first, we're going to preheat the oven to 150 degrees C. Now I have a little bit of prep work to do. Here I have a 9-inch springform cake tin, which I have lined around the sides and the bottom with some non-stick baking paper. For the sides I've just used 2 strips of baking paper and I've stuck them to the sides with a little bit of vegetable oil. And also for this recipe you're going to need to separate 8 eggs. I've already done 7 here because I'm not going to force you to watch me separate 8 eggs. It's one of my least favourite jobs, but here's how you do it. Just crack one and open it very carefully, and then you just cradle the yolk from shell to shell, shell half to shell half, being very careful not to break the yolk as you go because you don't want any oil or fats in the egg white because we're going to whisk this up like a meringue. And then we're just going to pop the egg yolk in a separate bowl. Make sure you use a nice big bowl for your egg whites, by the way. Don't know what's going on outside, loads of police sirens. And now we're going to move to the stove because we need to melt some chocolate. So here I have a pan of just steaming, almost simmering water. We don't want it boiling. And I've got some water there, it's a little bit shallow. And on top I'm going to put a heat-proof bowl of 220 grams of white chocolate. And we don't want the water to touch the bottom of the bowl because we just want a gentle heat to melt that chocolate. I'm going to add a good tablespoonful of matcha and 90 grams of unsalted butter. I'm just going to turn the heat up a smidge and I'm just going to let these melt together and stir them until they're nice and smooth and well combined. At this point it's nearly completely all done, so I've actually turned off the heat and I'm just letting the residual heat melt the rest of the butter and the chocolate. Now this is basically done. I'm going to switch to a balloon whisk. This is going to get any last lumps of unmelted chocolate out of there. And now we're going to add in our 8 egg yolks and whisk those all in too. Nice, now I'm going to take this off the heat. Now we're going to deal with our egg whites. First we're going to whiz it up just like a meringue until it forms stiff white peaks. I always forget to turn on the mains, don't I? Anyway, there we go. And you'll know that it's done because if you do this and tip the bowl pretty much upside down, the egg whites don't come out. So these are done. We're going to add 100 grams of caster sugar and also a pinch of salt. And we're going to whiz this up until it's nice and glossy. And that's it, we have a lovely, beautifully glossy meringue. Make sure to get all the excess out of the beaters. Now, we want to mix our two different batters together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a good scoopful of the egg white and put it into our matcha mixture. And at this stage, we can be relatively rough because we're just using it to break the mixture up a bit, loosen the matcha mixture up a bit, because it's quite thick at the moment. And then once I've combined these two, I put all of the matcha into the egg white. And now I'm going to be folding carefully the two together. The reason why I like to use a balloon whisk is the spokes make this a little bit faster. So when I fold, I can just tap it like this on the side, and each spoke helps to fold it together. When it gets to this point, I'm going to stop using the balloon whisk now, because it's pretty much all combined. We don't want to overdo it, we want to keep as much air in there as possible. And I'm just going to go in one last time with a spatula, just to make sure we've scraped down all the bottom, and make sure it's evenly combined, so just using gentle scooping motions. Try not to bash any of that air out. And that's our batter done. So we've got our prepared cake tin here, and we're simply going to pour all of the batter in. And now we're going to bake it for 15 minutes, that's 50, and it's quite a cool oven, 150 degrees C, so it's going to bake slowly. What's going to happen is it's going to rise a lot, but when we take it out of the oven, it's going to sink, and that is totally normal, so see you in 50 minutes. Here's our super puffy cake. Like I said, don't get too excited, it's going to sink. So we're just going to leave it to cool on this wire wrap completely before we slice it and serve it, and it is going to sink, but like I said, totally normal. And here we have our slightly sunken cake, so let us demold it. I have my nice big slate slab here, that will do because it's quite a big cake. Unclip the sides, nice and easy. Let's slide her off and take off the bits around the sides. Now at this point I do like to give it a little dusting of matcha, about a teaspoonful. Just makes it even prettier. And let's cut a little slice to serve. Oh, it's so soft. She may not be the prettiest cake in the world, but she did set a car alarm off. Why is it whenever I try to film, someone outside tries to break into a car? That looks good. I did hold off on eating that bite. Washing machine is still going. Since I've been so good and I held off when I was filming the slow-mo, I'm going to go ahead and take a bite now, so cheers. It's so surprisingly light. You would have thought with all that white chocolate and butter it would be really dense, but it's not. It's really soft and light, almost like a mousse. That's absolutely gorgeous. Perfect tea time cake. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up now. I've got a lot more chores to do today, including going away and eating this cake. So there you go, flourless white chocolate matcha cake. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe video, and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog tashcakes.com, follow me on Instagram, I'm tashcakes.tastes, and find me on TikTok too, I'm tashcakes there too, but my handle is Foods in Slow Motion. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more, give this video a like if you'd like to help other people find it, comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you all next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week. Uh-oh, someone just got out of their car and is having a bit of a barney with another driver.